How do I? 29F. Boyfriend, 31 meters, to pay me for 3 days of hard work without an argument. I 29F have been with my boyfriend 31 meters for over 2 years. We love each other a lot, make each other laugh every day and are planning to move in together this year. My boyfriend owns a food truck and is very passionate about his food. When we first met he was only cooking at home and was very apprehensive about having his own business. I've encouraged him over the last year and have helped him apply for licenses, helped search for a truck, and over the last year he has slowly grown a name for himself in the industry, and I'm so proud of him for following his dreams and going for it. He was just accepted to one of the largest food truck festivals in the US, which is huge for him, not only in the money, but the exposure as well. It's difficult to get accepted and I'm extremely proud. When discussing the festival with the festival show runners, they stated most vendors make an average of $7,000 in the 3 days the festival goes for. The festival goes morning to late night for 3 days straight. The truck is hot, the festival is in July. The work is busy and non-stop. I mean, it is work. Most weekends I've helped him in the truck taking orders, helping any way I can, but this is much bigger and longer than anything I've helped with before. In the year he's had this business I've never asked him for any sort of payment because I've been happy to spend time with him and help out. It honestly hasn't even crossed my mind. Since this is a much bigger event, and for 3 days, I have to take 2 days of PTO from work to help him. When I mentioned to my friends about the festival, they asked how much he was going to pay me and I said he wasn't. They said that he should pay me something or at the very least give something as a thank you. This had me thinking back to all the times we've left after hours of hard work and he's had $500 in his pocket and has never even offered dinner as a thank you, let alone tips or any time of real payment. Recently he got a new electric neck fan. It hangs off your neck, blows cool air into your face, for the food truck festival since it's going to be really hot. I asked if he got me one as well and he said no. I couldn't help but feel unappreciated as I'm also in the hot truck, working for hours just like he is. And the neck fan is like $20 max. When the festival came up, I asked if he could buy us a couple's massage for the day after the festival since we would have sore muscles from working and it's something we've discussed for a long time about doing together. He said, "What about dinner?" as in, instead. Dinner to my boyfriend is not some nice fancy restaurant. It's a diner or deli. I felt dejected again and just unappreciated. My friends are saying that if it were them, they would insist on being paid for 3 days of hard work or at the very least be given a massage that would cost max $200. When thinking about it, if the situation were reversed, I think I would offer my helper person, girlfriend or not, a cut of the profits, since they are working as well. I don't want to get into a fight, but I also want to be respected and appreciated for my time and work. So, am I being greedy for demanding to be compensated? What's the best way to go about this without us fighting? For the record, this is not his main source of income. Anything he makes goes back into the business or he puts it into savings. During the day GE does a part-time job that pays the bills. He is not struggling or even needs to do this. It's a passion. I should also add he has savings for no particular reason other than he enjoys saving money. We have not discussed houses, other things that would require saving. Edit. Hi everyone. Wow, I've been reading these kinds of stories on Reddit for a long time and it's weird to be on the other side. Haha, I appreciate the people that gave some good advice, and those who commented who were out for blood, which was difficult to read, but I get it. I know how it comes across and I am usually the first to say, dump his ass, when reading these things. I was pretty anxious to bring this up for many weeks and spoke to my therapist about it. She recommended what some of you did, go in curious, not mad. She suggested going in as a question and not anticipating a fight, because I would probably subconsciously give off, ready to fight, vibes, if that makes sense. Last weekend he brought up the festival and I felt it was a perfect time to bring it up. I said, "Hey, so this festival is kind of a lot. Kind of goes beyond girlfriend privileges of a couple hours, ya know? Do you think maybe I could get a small cut?" Without hesitation he said, "Oh yeah, of course. You're basically my employee for the weekend." I was really relieved and he was extremely genuine. He asked what cut I was thinking and I said I didn't know. I mentioned how I was taking off work and he apologized, saying he appreciated my help and he would pay whatever I wanted. We agreed that he would pay me what I make hourly at my regular job, $21 per hour, for the 3 days. After this conversation, without even bringing up the fan, he mentioned how he wanted to get one for me too, but he got his from Facebook Marketplace and they were only selling one, so he was waiting to find another one or buy it online somewhere. This man loves Facebook Marketplace, so this adds up. I wish he would have explained that originally, as a lot of you and myself were more bothered about the fan than getting paid. When I do help in the truck, he does check on me to make sure I don't need a bathroom break, that I'm doing okay, makes sure I have water, etc. So he definitely does care about my comfort while working. Thinking about this whole situation, I still feel weird that he hadn't thought to pay me himself and I had to awkwardly bring it up, but my partner is someone who is pretty forgetful, forgets to bring milk home. I asked, forgot it was Valentine's Day. So I truly don't think he thought about this and thought, no, I'm not paying her, forget that. I do think this hasn't crossed his mind, based on how easily he agreed. Very, light bulb lighting up, moment. Or he read the post, person shrugging, medium light skin tone, female sign, haha. I don't think so, but you never know. Anyway, sorry this is really long. I really appreciate your comments and I felt like I had a lot of people in my corner in case it did become an argument, so it gave me a lot of bravery. My boyfriend is wonderful and kind and really thoughtful. He cooks for me constantly. I come home to dishes being done. We don't live together yet, so it's not a chore. Little surprise presents, and is said many times he appreciates me and my help. If I'm totally wrong, I promise to update if we break up.
Yeah, if you're literally working in his food truck, and you don't have shared finances, his earnings contributing to rent, bills for both of you, it seems reasonable to want to be paid in some way for it, especially if you're taking days off work for it. Let him know that moving forward, if he wants you to work in the food truck, you'll need to be paid for it.
Don't get mad, get confused. If you want to avoid an argument, then be honest, be forthright, but don't present this as something that you're angry or resentful about from the start. Instead, simply lay out the facts. Write them down in point form if you're afraid you might forget or feel too aggravated to present them calmly in the moment. And present them to him as, I love you very much, and of course I want your business to succeed, and I want to support you. All the things he is likely to try to use as arguments against you. You mention these preemptively, but he is asking you to take time off work, and use up some of your PTO days to work long hours in the kitchen, which is a physically demanding job. In a small, very hot, uncomfortable food truck kitchen. So uncomfortable, in fact, that he has already taken steps to mitigate the discomfort himself with a wearable fan. But you won't have one of those, which you're also a bit confused about. Did he not think you'd be uncomfortable if he is, when you're working in the same hot kitchen for the same hours? And most importantly, he is not doing any of this but for some reason it seems like he expects you to do the same amount of work, in arguably less comfortable conditions, for absolutely no share of the profits, or even a minimum wage salary, or anything at all. He expects you to volunteer. But even he isn't volunteering to do this for, say it sarcastically or snidely. You don't need to. Put on your best confused face, and honestly, it shouldn't be difficult, because this is truly baffling. And say, I absolutely adore you, and I'm excited to see your dream starting to come to fruition. But it kind of feels like you don't value my time or the labor I put into supporting you, because this is a business that you will make a profit from. And yet you expect me to work a lot of hours for you in difficult conditions, entirely for free. And I don't want to think that you're that kind of person. Like, you're not right? The kind of person who doesn't value all the labor I put into helping you make your dream happen? So I would like to understand how you intend to compensate me for all the work I'm putting into this right by your side, so I don't feel like you're taking me for.
There is no real way of not getting into an argument. He sees your help as a no-brainer because, of course my girlfriend would support me. Let him know that you don't feel your work is being appreciated by him and that in the future you will be supporting him from the sidelines. You don't have a stake in the business. Your name's not on anything and you're not being appreciated for your help. There is no reason to reschedule your life for something that doesn't benefit you in any way. If he needs the help, then you need compensation for your time in some one time. It's a favor, often it has become expected.
You know what it means when you can't afford to pay your workers a living wage? It means you actually don't have a viable business and you need to shut it down and get a job. I know you said this is his passion project, great. His passion project should be about 30 to 50% less profitable than it currently appears to be. Definitely bring this up. Lots of good advice here.
He didn't even think of getting you a fan as well. Seems you pay for everything and he's selfish. At this point, I tell him I can't get the time off work.
Don't go, but he sounds either brainless or selfish. Not getting his GF assistant a fan. Not offering to do something nice for you after or pay you. Why are you with him exactly?
So he built this business on your back. You've never seen a penny for all your effort, and he denies you simple comforts while working that he doesn't deny you. Sure, this is someone you want to be with. Let alone be a free ass for.
Well, start by saying you aren't missing your job to bust you off for nothing. That leaves one day he can pay you, or you go and enjoy the festival. He can hire employees and pay the wages and taxes for the workers.
Tell him that you're not working for free. He either pays you or he hires someone. He's taking total advantage of you. He's very selfish. He plans on walking away with all the money he makes after his costs and not pay you a penny. Plus he is costing you money for you taking PTO.
That he didn't get you a fan as well is when I stopped reading. That's really up and he needs to be called in that. Paying you is a whole other, more nuanced argument. But if he cares about you, the fact that he didn't think to get you a fan as well is enough of a red. I ask my wife to help me with something work-related. She'd be given the most comfortable provisions available.
Me too. How selfish.
Yeah, seriously. The only way this makes sense is if they are going to be putting the savings towards something that benefits both of them, like rent, utilities, or a house that is equally in her name. But even so, they've been dating for around 2 years and haven't even moved in together yet, so they are far from guaranteed to stay together until the house buying stage. And even if they do get to that stage, it's not fair for him to get the credit for that chunk of the down payment and act all generous when his profits were built on her free labor. She should be getting at least minimum wage for this work. The other way to approach this could just be experimenting with how he reacts when she says no to helping out a specific weekend. Does he feel entitled to her labor? Because it sure as heck feels like it.
I like this, but honestly, the dude isn't confused. He knows he's taking advantage of. He's going to ignore any of these questions that he can and answer something like, I know. I think it's so wonderful that you are willing to sacrifice like that for me. I really appreciate all the work you. Then he'll move right on to you have a right to ask question and even a right to be mad. If you really want to avoid an argument, don't go on this. Tell him that you don't have the time to do this trip and he's going to have to hire step aside and let him run his business. My guess is, he'll find a way to pay someone else. Or you'll see him treat someone else who's a friend the same. Aren't angling to become his employee. You're looking for long-term commitment. Save the angst over the future for conversations around where you are headed. It's time to have those conversations. Free labor means something completely different in the context of marriage. You need to know if he was taking your labor knowing he wasn't planning on long-term. You need to know if he's cheap and can you live with that cheapness if you're living together. And offense, but the bigger questions are out there for you. Where is this going? What do you see us becoming? Do you want marriage and kids? When? Does he? You have avoided the important questions and he seems to be the kind of guy he may exploit your easygoing, passive approach in more ways than that. Food. It's been 2 years. If you want marriage or something like it, it's time to move on if he's not interested in committing to.
I just come to this sub at this point to marvel at the people will put up with. Absolutely insane. Why would you even date someone like this?
I own a food truck. Do not go on this trip. Are you in LA? Come work for me. We compensate our workers pretty well. It can be an expensive business model if the product is high-end, margins are small. P.S. $7,000 a day is chicken scratch. He's losing money. Dump this guy and his passion should be you.
Nah, if you're that and inconsiderate, it stops mattering if you meant it to be harmful or not. He didn't even get her a fan for her neck, like he got himself, and then tried to haggle for a cheaper reward post-event. He sucks, full stop.
Yeah, this. I felt odd about the comment above yours because one of the first things I noticed is op working for free for a guy that doesn't have finances and legalities tied to her. She's not benefiting at all from what she does for him. I wouldn't be surprised if her feelings for not being appreciated come from there. Yeah, it is time to claim to be GF only again. For me, him not buying a fan for you is a red flag. You having to ask to be compensated or appreciated is also a red flag. Is it with that type of person that you want to be partners for life? Someone that you have to find angles on how to approach for common sense things. Yes, you're helping him, op, and it's a passion project, but it's still his business, so he knows he's getting free labor from the discussion is about marriage and joint accounts. Halt your help for when he puts a ring on it. Still, I would not bet on a person already showing this kind of character if I were you.